Why Meghan?
Well, because she poses a challenge to the royal family, and she's a fascinating person. I mean, she's a person who started from nothing and has become a world global star, and that route to the top has never really been properly reported and examined and investigated.
When I was pregnant, and Harry says, oh, there was a little discussion before we got married. Well, something's wrong right there. But anyway.
Well, of course, that was brilliant of you to bring that clip up, because the body language just showed her discomfort as she dug deeper into her own hole. I mean, the truth is this, that there are two truths. The first truth is that the conversation, I'm told and I believe, was very early on in their relationship when Harry is bowled over by Meghan, is desperately in love, and already is talking about marriage.
They came for the wrong people. Meghan Markle's legal team just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Because when you threaten Lady Colin Campbell, a woman with 50 years of royal secrets locked in her head, and Tom Bower, the man who has brought down politicians, billionaires, and now royals, you don't silence them, you unleash them. Music, and what they are about to bring into that courtroom, if Harry is foolish enough to actually sue, will not just destroy the Sussex brand. It could shake.
Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both top.
We are talking about birth records, hospital documents, medical timelines, private communications, things that Harry and Meghan have spent millions keeping out of the public eye. All of it, every single page, becomes fair game the moment this goes to court. Lady C looks straight into the camera, calm, unbothered, almost smiling. Let him sue me. For words. That's all she needed.
Is it possible the ghostwriter dislikes Harry? I know people who know him. I've heard interesting things about him. I know he's, as I have said previously, very into the 12-step program and the whole druggy-alky business. It is not the job of a ghostwriter to do anything but put the thoughts of the incompetent who requires a ghostwriter.
Tom Bower, he said he already checked the hospitals. Music, both of them, London and California. And what his team found, or more accurately, what they did not find, is what is Palace Insider's music, sitting in emergency meetings right now.
She never intended to go to the Portland hospital. She intended to have the baby at home. We know that they deceived the public about the birth data and time of the whole event. So, and also, you know, even it goes down to the lawyer saying that in that statement, when they have that long attack on the Mail, which is astonishing, that Meghan, we know she lied in her statement.
So, what exactly are they hiding? What do Lady C and Bower know that terrifies Meghan's legal team? And why is the one thing that could end all of this a simple DNA test? The one thing Harry and Meghan absolutely refuse to do? Stay with me. You and I both know people like this, people who threaten, who wave legal letters around like weapons, hoping the noise alone makes everyone back down and go quiet. That is exactly what Harry and Meghan have been doing for years.
Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors.
But here is what they clearly did not count on. When you actually follow through with a defamation lawsuit, something happens that they cannot control. It is called discovery. And discovery means every document, every record, every private music communication suddenly becomes available to the other side's lawyers. Birth certificates, hospital records, medical documentation, private music, emails, everything hidden behind years of privacy claims examined in open court in front of the world.
Bower, where he doesn't go there. He doesn't go there. But he does go there as far as the fact that they wanted to keep the birth private and all the secrecy around that, and even the fact that
legal experts have been crystal clear. If Harry sues Lady C and Tom Bower, he hands them exactly what they need. He forces his own secrets into daylight. And the Samantha Markle lawsuit is already showing exactly how this works.
That Samantha only called herself Markle when Meghan was engaged to Harry, which Samantha says is a total lie. Interestingly, Samantha also says that Meghan's story about having a Ford Explorer where she could only get in through the boot was also untrue. She goes through a whole load of Meghan's lies. So by July, that is what the judge has said, these depositions, this cross-examination of Meghan will take place for the trial to start in October. So Meghan really has a problem because until today, her lawyers have been saying this is so ridiculous, we refuse to even engage with Samantha Markle. They stonewall.
That case, the one Harry and Meghan's team called ridiculous for years, is now forcing Meghan into a formal legal deposition under oath by July. Music, answering questions she has never had to answer publicly before. Court means proof, and proof is the one thing Harry and Meghan have never been willing to provide. Before we go further, this matters enormously. Lady Colin Campbell and Tom Bower are not gossips, not click-chasing YouTubers, not tabloid rumor merchants.
Choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets. And I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know. I wrote 4 years ago a book about Prince Charles, and it was a story about how he had rehabilitated himself after Diana's death, and how Camilla also had to be rehabilitated. And it was a #1. It was a fascinating story. So when Meghan came along into the scene, I just thought, this is fascinating. How is this going to play out? To tell the truth, I spoke to very few friends of Meghan because she put a fatwa on anyone talking to me who she could. So I sent off dozens and dozens of emails to her friends, and most of them didn't even reply. And obviously I spoke to her father, who loves her still very much, and said, in the end, whatever she is, she's still my daughter. You can't beat the real story. I mean, that's the excitement of writing these sort of books, that in the end, nothing beats the truth, the real fact.
Lady C has been writing about the royal family for decades with sources that go back further than most people can remember. She has been proven right on claims people laughed at when she first made them. She chooses every word with surgical precision. Tom Bower is one of Britain's most formidable investigative authors. His book, Revenge, genuinely rattled the Sussex camp. He has spent his entire career going after powerful people and finding what they desperately want hidden. What makes both of them so dangerous right now is music, what they actually did.
She brings up the very interesting point that at the time when these rumours first started to come up and appear, that they were the realm of the conspiracy theorist, and that Lady C does not consider herself a conspiracy theorist, so she paid them no heed at all.
Bower's team went to Portland Hospital in London and Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in California, the two locations where Harry and Meghan's children were reportedly born. They looked for the documentation that exists for every birth, confirmations, records, the paper trail that any significant medical event leaves behind. According to Bower, they found nothing solid.
The whole description she does of the Portland Hospital, the birth, that was completely fabricated. We all know.
Lady C, meanwhile, has been hinting at medical timelines, private, music, emails, and first-hand witnesses. People who were actually around Meghan during her pregnancies, and who are apparently now willing to talk. She is not bluffing. And deep down, Harry Music knows it. Lady C did not start out as a believer. When the first rumors about Meghan's pregnancy circulated, she dismissed them completely.
Either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country. All Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
Too serious, too credible to engage with conspiracy territory. But then the phone calls started, journalists asking her opinion, palace sources flagging their own unease, and slowly she started paying attention to what was happening right there in public. Music, in front of everyone. The palace had been watching too nervously. They had assumed a traditional birth at St. Mary's Paddington, music, would silence everything. That is where royal births happen. Doctors are named publicly. Consultants are identified. Transparent by design specifically, So questions like these never get a foothold. It was
thought by some people that Meghan was too big for, well, I suppose her first baby, and also too big for the fact of only having one child. And she seemed to be too big at the wrong time, or like suddenly.
But Harry and Meghan refused. No named doctors, no named consultants, none of the transparency that royal births have always provided. And into that silence, the public started filling in its own answers. What struck me most reading through the responses from medical professionals was how consistent they were.
This case about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Arthur.
A retired labor and delivery nurse with 30 years of experience said she had never seen a pregnant woman whose bump behaved the way Meghan's did. A retired midwife said exactly the same.
Why is she always clutching and holding onto her belly? Is she trying to hold something in place? And that sort of feeling and sentiment started to grow.
Multiple obstetric professionals noted the bump appeared different sizes on different days, sometimes different sizes within the same photo shoot. There was the Fashion Awards appearance. Meghan constantly holding her belly throughout the entire evening in a way that multiple medical professionals described. There was the deep squat in high heels with knees together at an advanced stage of pregnancy. Multiple midwives said publicly this was not physically consistent with carrying a baby at that stage, and the purple dress and red coat incident going into a meeting bump in one position coming out noticeably different. Same day, same outfit.
The conversation, I'm told and I believe, was very early on in their relationship when Harry is bowled over by Meghan, is desperately in love, and already is talking about marriage, but long before their engagement is even announced, let alone they're married and she's pregnant. And he's sitting in Clarence's house with then Prince Charles and Camilla. And Camilla just laughingly says, well, any child you'll have will probably have brown skin and ginger hair, and already is talking about marriage, but long before their engagement is even announced, let alone they're married and she's pregnant. And he's sitting in Clarence's house with then Prince Charles and Camilla. And Camilla just laughingly says, well, any child you'll have will probably have brown skin and ginger hair. And they all laugh, including Harry. I mean, it's not because of racism. It's just one of those things everybody imagines. When somebody is pregnant close to you, you wonder what the child will look like. But it was not said as anything other than
like a concern. That's what Meghan claimed, that it was a concern about how dark the baby would be.
Lady C also pointed to something most people missed, the actual wording of both birth announcements. Born for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, not born to them. In proper English, she explains, children are born to people who carry them, born for people who receive them through other arrangements. It appeared in both announcements from two different sources. Music, accidental possibly.
He has more power than the courts and the king. That's what he's trying to do. He's getting the government to undermine the legal system and the institution of the monarchy. It couldn't be simpler. Harry has security when he comes to this country. It's assessed on a case-by-case basis. If he stays in a palace, and he's offered to stay in palaces, and refuses to do so, because he's trying to manipulate the system.
Lady C does not think so. Tom Bower's findings at both hospitals added another layer. No solid trace. No clear confirmation at either location. And the CBS exclusive, One American Network allowed into the room when Archie was first shown to the world. One with an existing relationship with Oprah Winfrey, who was already in discussions with Harry and Meghan about a documentary deal.
Tom, do you think Harry and Meghan are fast learning what they signed away when they took this Netflix big moolah? And I would say they signed away their credibility and their dignity.
Well, that's our view, but it's not theirs. They need the money, and they need it now more than ever because they've got no other source of income. So I think they're just stuck with the devil now. They're tied to Netflix, they're tied to their book, and all the criticism they're going to take means nothing because that's the only way they can earn their money.
Bauer's conclusion: the secrecy was commercial. Privacy was not a principle. It was a product. And then there is the moment Harry himself created.
Well, he does it because he needs a profile. That's the only way they can get money, by showing the profile. And for Netflix, everything is built around the future documentary series to promote the Sussexes.
Meghan, standing right beside him, said 2 days. 2 weeks. 2 days. Music nobody ever followed up. Now, pay close attention because this is where everything changes.
Meghan, can you tell us what it's like becoming a new mum and tell us a little bit about baby Sussex, as we're calling him?
It's magic. It's pretty amazing. And I mean, I have the 2 best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
Tell us a little bit about your son. What's he like? Is he sleeping well? Good baby?
Yes, he has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm.
Harry is furious. Insiders from Montecito describe a man barely sleeping, pacing music, rooms, glued to articles and YouTube channels, watching strangers dissect photographs of his children, music, and question everything he has built his identity around.
He's not very intelligent and undoubtedly remains damaged by the early death of his mother, Diana. And he very foolishly blames the media for her, in his words, which is complete nonsense. But I think he loved the adulation. He loved it when he was being praised, especially when he was a soldier. But then he became criticized, firstly because he became drunk in public.
His legal team has reportedly been weighing full action against both Lady C and Tom Bauer, and Lady C's response was something I think many of us, those of us who have lived long enough to recognize real courage, found remarkable. She did not panic, did not soften her language, did not add careful qualifications. Let him sue me. Just sit with that.
I was shocked to hear that. I mean, is that who he is?
Well, I think Harry is a very complicated person because he's not very intelligent and undoubtedly remains damaged by the early death of his mother, Diana. And he very foolishly blames the media for her, in his words, murdered her, which is complete nonsense. But I think he loved the adulation. He loved it when he was being praised, especially when he was a soldier. But then he became criticized.
This is a woman who knows exactly what she is saying. She is not being dramatic. She is being precise because she knows that a courtroom, the place Harry is threatening to drag her into, is music, actually where everything she knows becomes public record. Bauer responded identically. No retreat. He said he has sources, documents, testimony, and material that does not disappear under legal pressure. He pulled up a chair and said, "Bring it." Legal analysts have been unambiguous. A defamation lawsuit requires Harry to prove what Lady C and Bauer said was false.
I personally think there are times when he should have. You are absolutely right. The book is littered with inconsistencies and anomalies, where Harry is on the one hand raging about people and how terrible they are because they are doing to him exactly what he is doing to someone else. But he's a wonderful person. But they're terrible.
To prove it false, he has to provide the truth, the documents, the records, music, the very things he has spent years and millions keeping private. Discovery means everything. Music comes out. You know what the comment sections have been saying? Thousands of people writing the same thing over and over. Please sue them. Take them to court. We want to see everything. Because everyone understands the courtroom is the one place where the Sussex media machine simply does not work. No carefully crafted music statements. No strategic silences. No perfectly timed Instagram posts. In court, you answer the questions, all of them. And here is the irony that I find genuinely breathtaking.
to admit that actually those stories had been published by other newspapers, days prior, and that's where they got the information from, or the fact sometimes the palace released information themselves and Prince Harry wasn't aware of it, or the fact that, it was just sources and friends or people close to Prince Harry.
This is the couple that sat with Oprah and talked about honesty, transparency, speaking truth to power, being silenced, and wanting their story heard. Now they are threatening to sue two authors, asking questions that one afternoon and a DNA test could answer permanently. The palace said nothing. Not one word in Harry's defense. Just the standard "we do not engage in speculation" response that tells you everything while appearing to say nothing. This goes far beyond one family's drama. And I think it is important we say that clearly. British royal succession law requires heirs to be born of the body. It is centuries old, and it is the bedrock of royal legitimacy.
Harry doesn't have the brains, and Meghan has the ability. Not enough brains to have figured out that being too clever by half is stupid by whole, but enough brains to think, well, I'm so clever, I can outsmart everybody. And anybody who gets to see what I'm about, sorry, I forgot, the hands have to flash. After all, she is a member of, well, isn't she the woman from La Mancha? Windmills everywhere. You notice she's gone quiet on Instagram for about a month now. There was a whole load of postings when she was pushing the narrative that I'm a great success.
If the questions Lady C and Bower are raising ever found legal traction, the implications for Archie and Lilibet's position in the line of succession would be profound. Constitutional lawyers are reportedly being quietly consulted. The distance between King Charles and the Sussex children has become impossible to ignore. Compare music, it to William and Catherine's children, constant photographs, public appearances, visible royal family warmth at music, every turn. Now look at what we see of Archie and Lilibet. Almost nothing. Palace insiders suggest this distance is deliberate, protective, strategic.
If she hasn't had the children herself, or Harry hadn't been involved, then they can't be in the royal line. They have to have royal blood, those little ones. Without that, there's no chance of them becoming a member of the royal family.
And through all of this, the solution remains the same simple one. For DNA tests, one afternoon, everything music resolved permanently. Lady C has said it. Bower has said it. Thousands of ordinary people in comment sections across every platform have said it with growing frustration. If the story is completely true, one test destroys Lady C's credibility forever. Ends Bower's inquiry permanently. Silences every question that has ever been raised.
She's actually composed again, and never talks about it. I mean, the whole problem she found with this last Vanity Fair issue, the hustle issue, is that she couldn't control the content. And she is somebody who believes, understandably, she's got to control everything down to the last full stop.
So why has it not happened? Every day without an answer makes the silence heavier. Every legal threat fired instead of simple transparency makes people more certain that transparency, music, is the one thing Harry and Meghan genuinely cannot afford. Tom Bower has been especially direct about this final piece, music, and I think it explains everything. Harry and Meghan's entire post-royal income depends on one thing only.
And that's why I think, I think Tina is a great journalist, and perhaps she has inside information. I don't see how the Sussexes can give up both the Netflix and the book deal. They won't be living in a Montecito cottage. They're more likely living somewhere in downtown LA, in a little hovel. That's their problem. They're stuck now. But, the truth is about them.
Their brand, the perfect family, the humanitarian power couple, the great love story that gave up everything for truth.
Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem.
Every crack in that story is a direct financial music hit. And the cracks right now are not small. They are cornered, said Bower plainly. They know it. The harder they fight to control the narrative, the more legal letters fired. The more cease and desist demands, the more convinced people become that music, something significant, is being hidden.
That has always been her motive. She's money obsessed and always has been. And that is why she married Prince Harry. A great surprise and disappointment was to discover that Prince Harry had very little money. She imagined he'd be worth hundreds of millions, if not billions. And she's having to make up for it now.
Lady C put the financial reality bluntly. She married Harry believing he was worth hundreds of millions. What she found was a man financially dependent on the very institution she helped him attack.
What I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013 onwards, when her marriage had crashed and she couldn't find anyone in Canada at the time. And she wanted wealth and she wanted fame. And she targeted, there's no doubt she targeted.
And now they are both trapped. They need the spotlight to survive. But the spotlight is destroying everything they built.
I had always looked at it more as, oh, she landed this prince. That's what she was out for. We know that she was hunting for someone of wealth, of notoriety in Great Britain, and she landed, the biggest you could land. But it worked the other way too. He was feeling irrelevant. She comes along. She's a, somewhat well-known person, or at least that was his impression. And she's mixed race. She could elevate his star as well. It worked both ways.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, what I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013 onwards.
So here's where we stand. Lady C and Tom Bower are not backing down. The lawsuit threat has not scared them. It has made them sharper, more focused, and more specific about exactly what they know in music, what they are prepared to say in court.
It was a dreadful thing to do, and actually completely wrong. He is quite hard and harsh.
Like, why lie? It was just so truly, truly bizarre.
The Samantha Markle deposition is already underway. The palace is silent. Constitutional lawyers are involved. And two simple words from Lady Colin Campbell are echoing everywhere. Let him sue me. Do you think Harry actually follows through?
Harry is definitely delusional. He's always had tendencies to delusions. We need to cut him some slack with the possibility, as I have said before, that he might have been born, shall we say, handicapped. Certainly, he's no brain box. On the contrary, it doesn't help that he doesn't have a mind to be in with, and that he's out of the mind he doesn't have. But the impertinence, the arrogance, is truly beyond belief. Because really, what did that dowry offer constitute? Oh, it was meant to give the message that, oh, I want to be wonderful. I don't want to upstage Pa or Big Willie. But I need you to know how important I am. So I will make the offer, as if Harry and Meghan's engagements are now going to set the agenda for the royal family.
And if he does, what do you think comes out? Drop it in the comments right now. I read every single one. Hit like. Share this with someone who follows this story. Subscribe with notifications on, because the next chapter is moving faster than anyone expected, and you do not want to miss.